Thank you to Softr for sponsoring this video. In this video, I'm going to compare Softr to Zite, building a real business application so you can see for yourself side by side exactly the differences and you'll know which tool is best for you. You're going to understand the pros and cons of each tool and when you might want to consider Softr and when you should consider Zite. There are some key differences, and I'm going to show you the real results that both of these tools create, and you'll understand which one you are going to want to use. You're going to want to watch till the end because there's some differences that genuinely surprised me. We're going to get right into it and send off the same prompt in both Softr on the left side and Zite on the right side. We're going to be testing this on a true business application. The prompt is to build an event planning app to manage events, attendees, registrations, sessions, speakers, and check-ins. We're going to add a backend database, user authentication. It's going to be a full business application. Right off the bat in Zite, we have kind of a Lovable-esque editor here. On the left side, we have our chat. On the right side, the preview. It's creating the database for us. So we're going to go ahead and create the database in Zite. So it's adding these tables based on the prompt. On the left side, we have Softr. So what I like about Softr here is it's going through a setup process for a new application. And this is really helpful, I think, because it's going to help make sure that it's building the right business logic that we need. So who is going to use this app? We're going to say both staff and attendees. So we're going to make this a little bit more advanced. How should registrations work? Single ticket per event, tickets per session. I'm going to say single ticket per event. And do you need payments as a part of registration? Let's say no payments for now, but it's cool that that is an option that Softr is giving us. I really like this onboarding actually. So next it's going on to authentication. How will your users log in? Email, Google, or single sign-on? I'm going to say, let's just say email for now. Really nice again that you can just check these boxes and add this as authentication. I really like how this is kind of combining AI and no code together. So you really don't have to be technical to use this. And then in a second, we're going to jump back over to Zite to see where it is, but we're going to continue here with Softr. So can people sign up on their own? I'm going to say, yes, anyone can sign up. Now jumping into the app's main navigational layer, let's say desktop on the side, mobile bottom, that looks good. And we get to choose our theme as well. I really like this denim theme, so I'm going to apply that as my theme and click create our app. So now Softr is going to craft the plan, outline the tables, pages, overall flow, and we're going to let it build that and come back to it when we have something to share. In the meantime, Zite is still working. It is creating all the files, and we're going to see some really important differences between Zite and Softr coming up. Now, Softr here on the left side, we can see is now in the more familiar format of AI chat on the left and then the preview on the right. However, this is really interesting. The database view looks almost like Airtable. What's nice about tools like Airtable is it's really user-friendly for non-developers to use. And I would say the same thing here for Softr. It looks like you can go through the tabs really easily. It's going to set up the relations. And in a second, I'm going to show you what the table actually looks like. And you're going to see how easy it is to navigate for that non-technical user. And we're going to compare that to what we see in Zite as well. It's cool to see this in real time, the AI creating the fields, loading them. Here we can see with some demo data populating, you can literally see it populating in real time, what it looks like and how similar this looks to something like Airtable. It's a lot easier to use than something like Google Sheets, much more powerful, but a lot easier to use than something like an actual database, which for non-technical users is going to be difficult. Now we're jumping into the interface and we can see that Softr is going to start building our interface here. What is nice about Softr, and I'm going to jump into the differences again, we go back into Zite, is that Softr is building this on its no-code platform interface. These are elements that Softr is using on the page and this is actually amazing to see it come in live like this. These are elements that are actually going to be stable and work really well, and they're not just going to break when you send a prompt off. it's really cool to see this come in live as it's adding in. We can see the blocks, the container block, the chart block. And this is what I mean by the elements, the blocks that are coming on the page. It's not just vibe coded elements. These are blocks that are a part of the Softr platform that you're able to utilize as a part of the business app that you are building. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is really cool to watch and see it kind of come to life in real time as on the left side, the blocks get created. We're going to come back to Softr in a second, but I want to show you Zite so that you can compare and contrast and get a sense for what are the benefits and what are some of the drawbacks. So here inside Zite, we have on the left side, it says it created the app, it set it up, and we can click here on this view code button and you can see all the code that was generated. And this is what I mean by a vibe coded app. So Zite, fully built out the code and built out the pages, built out the components. It wrote the code for the entire app. This can be cool because it is fully customized for you, but that also means that code needs to be maintained. There could be bugs, just something to be aware. And the difference is between Softr, which is using those blocks that are going to be, I think, more stable overall in the long run. So that's one thing to be aware of. But overall, it does look pretty nice. It looks like we have events, we have sessions, we have some speakers. We're going to compare and contrast this to the design as well of Softr shortly. And this is really just the first prompt I did on both platforms. I'm not re-recording this a bunch of times to get one to be different or better than the other. We're getting the true first reaction on both platforms here. Something else you should be aware of here with Zite is they do have the ability to see the workflows. So these are workflows built with code, but you can see kind of what's happening in a no-code way, which I do think is nice, kind of visualizing the code. On the database side of things, this is a little bit more like a database that a developer would be looking at. It is a little bit nicer than I would say looking at like the Supabase interface, which is going to be for an even more technical user. Here you can see on the bottom, we can go to the different tabs and see the different data. But we're going to compare this to Softr. Here on the left side, we have Softr's data tab, and I think Softr's data tab is just a little bit more user-friendly. Looks more like Airtable to me. It is similar. There are some similarities, but again, you can be the judge of which one you think is better. And the point of this video is for you to see both of these platforms and make the decision for yourself on which one is the better platform for you. Something that you should be aware of is this Softr database is a whole product that you can use separately from Softr. So you don't actually have to only use it inside of a Softr app that you're building. You can use it outside of the Softr app and just use it instead of Airtable. And if you subscribe to our channel, we might be creating a comparison between Softr and Airtable coming up. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and you'll see that video as soon as it's released. I'm going to jump into a couple more things in Zite, and then let's jump in to see what was actually created by Softr for the Softr business app. Now we can click publish, and I'm going to click share to the web. So we're going to publish this to anyone while it's publishing, and then we're going to see what it is like live. Let's jump over to Softr. So on the left side, we can ask our AI agent to make changes. We can browse what it looks like here in the interface, and you can see as we hover over, every element can be clicked on. We can see the source, the content, the styles. Everything can be edited in a no-code way. So if you're familiar with any no-code tool, or if you've used Softr in the past, this will be familiar. You can see the database that it's coming from. You can see how it's filtering data. You can add conditions, and you can do this for everything. So here we can see the event cards. We can see the block type. We can even change that. If we want to make that a list, we can go ahead and do it. And let's see what it looks like. Here we go. Now we have a nice list of our events. So it's really nice to be able to just in a no-code way, make these changes. We can also click on the preview button, and here we can preview the app before it's actually published. We can click to see the different events. We can go to analytics, and here I'm previewing it as me. This is staff, but we can also preview it by attendees. This is really, really cool to preview it as a specific user. This is not something that I think we can do in Zite. So I think this is something that also separates Softr from Zite if you want to make that comparison. So let's see what it looks. So let's see what it looks like as an attendee. It says you're about to preview it, the latest version of your app, including unpublished changes. That's fine. I'm going to say I understand. Okay, great. So what it's saying is the permission is denied on this page. Let's go home. And now we can see, okay, this is the non-staff page of the app. We can browse events. So let's click the Tech Innovator Summit. Looks like this might actually be an error. It says I don't have permission to view this page. So why don't we send that into the AI agent and see if we can get that fixed. So back in the interface, we're going to go to the top left to open the AI co-builder. And we're going to say, as an attendee, when I click the view event details, it says I don't have permission. Can we fix that? And this is where I think Softr is really cool in that we're able to have this no-code builder interface drag and drop with the AI co-builder at the same time. This is something that I don't know if any other no-code AI tool has fully cracked yet other than Softr. So something really cool to try out. Okay, it says it fixed it. So it updated the page visibility. Why don't we go ahead and publish it? But then let's also, okay, oh, interesting. Send invite to 7 users. Those are the sample users that we have. So I'll just say I'll do it later. We'll go back to the preview. We actually didn't publish yet. We were only in the preview, but that's fine. And after just a little bit of back and forth, it was actually really cool. The AI co-builder asked me to give it the URL of the page to debug it. So I think it's really smart the way that the AI co-builder understands the Softr platform to work together with the human to debug. And now it's working perfectly. We can see, we can click in and view all of the information about the event. The next thing I want to show you about Softr is the Workflows tab. And you're going to see how this is different from the Zite workflows. So the Zite workflows, which were based off of code. Now the Softr workflows are based off of custom workflows. And you can set this up almost like you're using Zapier. If you're familiar with Zapier, this is going to be really familiar to you. The triggers can be from the database, from the app, from email. You can integrate with these integrations and set them up on a schedule or a webhook. The webhook is really cool. So that opens up any webhook that you want to send information to Softr to trigger the actual workflow. But let's set it on Softr databases. So we can do this on different triggers: record added, record deleted, updated, meets condition, or enters the view. The other thing that's great to know is that, as I mentioned before, the databases can be used as their own separate products, like an Airtable replacement, and these workflows are going to be available as well. Also, the workflows can be a separate product, and you can use this instead of Zapier. So all of it can be integrated together here in the app, or it can be done separately depending on what you use. So let's say when a new record is added, and now we're in basically our workflow here, we can also use our co-builder to help us build these workflows, which I think is really cool. So if we click the plus button below, you can see now we can create actions, and there's AI actions. This is built-in AI communication, data, payments, events. There's so much that you can do here in terms of actions in the workflows. I'm just going to show you a simple example to get started. And I'm going to show you how to do it with the AI co-builder. So we're going to say send an email for each new record, and I'm going to send that off. Add an email step that sends an email whenever a new record is added. Use the record fields to personalize the subject and body. So this would be like a welcome email that we could send to our new users who create an account for the app. And here we have that send email action was created. All we would have to do is connect to our Gmail. This is, again, very similar if you use anything like Zapier before. So then it would send the email from our Gmail. And when a record is added from our database, from our users tab, we could select any table we want. Then we could go into the email and write an email. We could say hi, and then we can customize it by going into the record table. We could test the trigger first, so that way we get a data to test with. And now we can go in and say hi, and then record added, and we get the information right here. Any information that we have. So this would be the name. The two could be the email. And again, very similar to other no-code tools that you might have used before. But what, again, is really cool is that you can have the AI co-builder do it for you as well. So these workflows are super powerful. There's a lot that you can do on top of it. And hopefully you're seeing here with Softr how it's really something that non-technical users, non-technical teammates in your company can manage, not just build once, but manage it. And I think that's the key. And I think one of the key differences between Softr and other tools is that ability for teammates to manage your app over time and not just build the MVP. And Softr removes some of the things that typically get teams bogged down, such as user authentication, databases, and workflows, and having it all in one platform can be really helpful. Also, role management is something that Softr handles really well and something that the AI co-builder can help as well to make sure roles are set up. But you can also easily set up roles under the user tab, something that's really important. And right here we have user groups, staff, and attendees, something that's really important for business apps and getting that logic correctly. That's something that Softr really helps users set up. There's 3 more features of Softr that I want to show you that you need to see before this video ends. The last one really surprised me and impressed me. So the first one is you can add a data source. So you're not stuck with the database in Softr. If you already have a data source in Airtable, for example, or Notion, Google Sheets, or any of these other data sources, even Supabase for people who are more technical, or some of these other tools for people who are more technical, you can use that as your data source and connect it to Softr. That's the first thing, really important to know, especially for business users who might have data elsewhere already. The next feature is this AI database agent. So in the database tab, if we go into a table, and we add a field, we can create an AI agent. And what we can do is have the agent enter in the field. So basically, take information about the user and use AI to generate a field. And something that I think is cool is you can also enable web search as well and choose the model. Some models are more expensive than others. They even have the brand new Claude Fable model that just came out, which is very expensive, but we'll stick with Gemini 3 Flash. We can have it trigger manually when a new record is created, existing record is updated, or any fields. You can fully customize this. And there's a lot that you can do with this. Something that I think is a really cool use case is as new users come in, what we could do is do web search about that user to basically learn about them. Let's say we want to enrich that user. So let's say enrich, I want to learn about who this person is, what company they work for, and what their interests are. We can also improve the prompt if we want, but let's just stick with what we created for now. There's also templates that we can add, such as drafting a follow-up email, social media post generator. There's a lot of really, really powerful things that you can do depending on what type of app that you're building. Research, for example, research company size, research. That could be a cool one too, research company size. Maybe we'll do that one next, but this will be just our own test. So I'm going to click save. And then what we can do is manually press this button. But again, as new users come in, it's going to add that. But let's have that fill with AI. While it's doing that, let's create a new AI agent. Let's use a template. Let's do the research template and research company. So summarize in 3 sentences the core activity of this company. And then what we can do is pull in the field. We don't have the company name, but we have the email. And I'll say use email domain based on public information found online. Make sure web search is on. And we'll send that off as well. So here, the first one, you can also rename the field. So we'll say this is user research. And then I can rename this one as company research. And this is really cool. Again, remember, you can use Softr Workflows on your own. So you could use this as like a CRM, enriching data, connect it with workflows to send emails. So you don't have to do this within the app. So, okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. I can open it up and it's telling me more information about myself. Founder of No Code MBA, no code development, AI, software and automation. I don't know where they got the jazz and blues. Maybe there's another Seth Kramer out there that does that. I'm not sure. So that actually not fully accurate, but everything else pretty good. And then on the company side, No Code MBA is an online education platform, and it's going on to expand on what No Code MBA is. So it did a really great job with that. So there's a lot we can do. Subscribe to our channel. Maybe a future video will dive even deeper into the data tab, the databases here in Softr, and what's possible with database AI agents. The last important thing you need to know, and this surprised me about Softr, is that you're not limited to the predefined blocks. Now, those blocks are really helpful. I talked about how that can help It just helps keep everything running really smoothly, easy to manage moving forward. Everything is done really well. But Softr also knows that sometimes you're going to have a use case where you need something beyond these components, and you're going to need to create your own block. And you can do this with the vibe coding block here. So we can create our own block. And I'm just going to do a quick example. You could do anything, but I just want to show you what's possible. So I'm creating a block here that's going to be a calculator to estimate ticket cost of a $500 ticket based on how many people are going to sign up, and the cost goes down if more people sign up. So there's going to be some logic here, and it's going to use code to generate this block. So hopefully you're seeing now kind of the differences between Softr and a traditional vibe coding platform like Zite or Lovable, something like that. Is there's just a lot more built on here in terms of features to help people manage the app moving forward. So here we have our dynamic pricing calculator. So we can customize it if we want by continuing to chat. So we click on this element, and then here we can chat and edit the element. We can also connect data sources to power the block, which is really cool. You can customize it in a no-code way as well if we want to change some of this information. And then we can also test it by going into the preview. So let's go to the preview. And here we can see there's pricing tiers that it created, which of course we could update ourselves. And if we change this, we can see the discounts coming in, and it generated this all on its own, and the style matches the rest of the app. I hope you enjoyed this video, and now you have a better understanding of Softr versus Zite and other AI vibe coding tools that you might be familiar with, and have a better understanding of what Softr is capable of. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to cover about Softr later on in the future. Click the link in the description to go to Softr and try it out for yourself, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.